Question number 2, tell us about your basic ministry philosophy or approach. I believe that show love and preach love would be the best way to summarize the way I minister. The gospel is constant. The way we preach it changes. It must change based on the language, the culture, and the situation at hand. But we must be faithful to who Jesus is and what He taught in the meaning of what He did on the cross of Calvary. So as we come to new locations, new communities, we first of all, just as Jesus when He did the limited commission said that we are to have someone that we allow our peace to dwell with, that person of peace. We find a person of peace, someone who already has credibility in that community. And that person must be also open to the gospel and seeking actively, if not already surrendered to Christ in the gospel in baptism. And then we work with that person so that that person can guide us to the specific needs of the community and how our skills and gifts can reach out and speak to those needs and try to fulfill those needs. For example, in my current context, we're using English as a second language training as a means of outreach, as well as I mentioned in my previous video. I work some with young people using martial arts as a platform for preaching the gospel. And then as we learn about those needs and speak to those needs, we then use that for, as the relationship grows and trust grows, the credibility we have in preaching the gospel increases, and then we more and more preach more and more specifically the gospel of Jesus Christ, first more generally, and then with a more general encouraging message, and then as we invite people to closer and closer relationship, and the people show interest in the gospel and in an active expression of wanting to know and actively do things and live the way Christ would have them live, we invite them into that relationship with Christ. It's usually not a quick process, but we found that it's the results are we're making a lot more disciples that are more disciples and not always just making church members, which can often be different. So disciple making through showing love and preaching love through demonstrating the gospel, how the gospel has transformed us, and then preaching a message that will invite people into that gospel transformation would be the best way of summarizing how I do ministry. And also seeking to repeat that process with other leaders and other locations that express their desire to work with me and my family in doing that.